Get you on that list.
Okay.
All right. Now we're doing. Okay. How do we look on the other one? Are we green on our dial over there? Hey, welcome to episode 4 of Sour Sofkee. And here in the Indian house today is Jason Salzman. You might have seen him on programs such as Muscogee Vision,
Yes.
Native News Today.
I'm so glad.
Indian Sports Rush.
Man. Keep going. Keep going.
What's the next one? Muskogee Radio.
Muscogee News.
The Muscogee Nation News. Yes.
He's
Man.
also a rock star drummer.
And the other thing that we're going to talk about tonight, which is the band, which is
the Brent Giddens Band. I've been drumming for them for about 2.5 years now. I drummed for this legend to my right here a few times when he would let me get back there and do a little Leonard Skinner with him.
It was an honor.
And this is Barney Ingram, who is, how many decades have you been at the Tribe, Barney? Like you've worked at the Tribe, you've performed at the Tribe.
Yeah, going on probably since 81, 82. That's quite a few decades.
When are you going to get the Living Legends nomination? That's
Man,
what
that's
I
good. Man, I got to get on that nomination ballot.
we
were the first band to play at the Muskogee festival. You know, at one time it was just a rodeo and a softball tournament. And I said, "This is a festival. We need balloons, music, you know." So the first stage we ever played on, they hired us and they went to McCoy's and got 4 bundles of plywood, run us one cord out to it, put us way out in the field, and there wasn't enough power to even play the first guitar, you know. But that was the first music festival that the Creek Nation had.
Was that the Sheetrockers or was that who was that?
We were at that time. It was with the Butch Powell band.
Butch Powell.
Yeah, okay. And then of course my band, the Sheetrockers, played. I think I can honestly say that we have probably played the Creek Festival probably more times than any regular band, you know, through the years.
And that's one of the things, you know, we were talking about before the show even started, is how the festival has changed, you know, and it's gone from offering these huge big name bands, and it's moved away from, you know, like the community bands and the citizens and stuff that get up on stage.
It used to have local bands, and there was a requirement when we first started doing that you have a Creek citizen in your band. Then from there, bands come hard to find, so it was just as long as you have a Native American in the band.
Yeah.
And from there, you know, I don't know what happened to it, but the last big show we had was me and my wife did it with Leon Russell.
Wow.
Chief A.D. Ellis was sitting chief at the time, and nobody at the festival committee ever heard of Leon Russell. They didn't know who he was. I said, he just had
Not one cool person on the festival committee.
And the chief, he said, "Barney, they're wondering if they want to turn you loose with $50,000." And they said, "You're a little eccentric, you know." But I called Leon, and he said, "The Creeks, I'll do it for this much," which was just cut way under what he normally got. I got Indigenous. Chris Zollis band, Jimmy Markham, of course, who's my hero. The chief, he come up and he said, "I never heard of any of these people, Barney." He said, "You gonna get me a crowd?" I said, "You just find a place to park them, chief." It was the first time that they'd parked across the road and just wherever they could park, because he was walking around, he was proud. He said, "This looks like the midway of the Tulsa Fair."
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people there. Yeah. And the next year somebody I want to do that, you know. And they knocked me and Ruth out. And to me, it's never been the same.
Well, it's cool too, because like if you look at that bill that you put together, you know, you think about Leon Russell, which is maybe his own genre right? You couldn't even maybe put him in a box. Then you got indigenous blues rock band. Then you got Chris Zollis and them, which are playing probably some Tex-Mex, some accordion, you know. People ain't hear that around here. That's right. So you get an eclectic mix of performers out there. Not only are people hearing something that maybe they haven't heard before, but they're hearing all different kinds of music. And that, to me, that's kind of what festivals are all about, is that you get a little bit of everything. That way, heck, you may have, you know, 7 or 8 different types of people out there musically. Groups anyway. And so when you get different groups and things like that, you know, they're like that old saying goes, I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll.
Yeah. When are you guys going to play festival?
Oh man, that's a sore subject. It's a sore subject. No, the band, it's funny because the guys in the band, you know, we play all over, and we play every weekend. You know, we are a traveling, working professional band. I mean, we're at every casino, every single weekend, and it just, you know, I thought, you know, we'd progress and maybe one day they would notice, because there have been other people to notice, and we've got a single right now down on Texas radio it's just charted this week. So go check it out if you shameless plug. But you know, the guys in the band all know, you know, that I do the show and everything like that, and I'm not anyone at all to use influence or anything like that to be like, hey, you know, what can I do here?
I'm this.
But
I
wouldn't be able to. I mean, nobody.
We complain about a problem.
You guys don't even care that I'm who I am. No, but no, the guys in the band are all, you know, oh man, you're you know, because they're not here every day. They think I'm Mr. Creek Nation, and so they go, man, how in the world do we not get on the festival stage? And I told them, I said, guys, it's a completely different animal. They got a whole. Sometimes they contract it out, you know what I mean? Not a lot of people know that. They've had people just completely just hired to book.
Well, whoever they're got to do that, in my personal opinion, don't have no idea what they're doing. You know, it's like getting a scuba diver to go rustle cattle, you know, or something.
That's one of the things that I feel like, I think if they want to have big name bands there or whatever, that's fine. I do, as a citizen, wish that maybe they would charge money to non-citizens for that, but whatever. But if you go out there, there's times when there could be people on stage playing music, and there isn't nothing on stage.
See, the
Why
last
can't
time
we have best of both worlds? You know, is my deal with that.
the last time I did the music portion, we had bands going at 1 o'clock. 45 minutes, 15-minute breakdown, another band. 45 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know why there's just 2 bands at the end of the night.
And then 5 o'clock, the chief would do his presentations and his 2 hours of, you know, speeches, and then
Which they don't even do that anymore out there. You know, like where the music part is.
It's too hot. No.
It's true.
It is hot. I mean,
then they built this little stage off to the side. When I've always, of course, nobody's going to listen. If you got a good idea, they're not going to use it, but they'll steal it from you on down the road.
That's the thing, though. As citizens, the citizens we've always talked about these things, you know, and hopefully people will listen. You know.
Well, you know, and what was told to me was that, and I don't know if this is what's going on now or what, but when I did approach and say, look, you know, we're a band that's, you know, we command a lot of, you know, dates, and, you know, there's no reason for us not to be playing this festival. What they said to me was that, and I don't know if this is in the major talents rider or anything like that, but they said to have a local band or something like that, you know, nothing big time, that they would have to rent out or basically pay to set up an additional stage to the right of the main stage. And if they did that, they said it would cost them $5,000, and they just really plus the recurring cost of having to give the band to
give Gladys Knight $250,000 and the whole top floor of the Holiday Express. You know, what's that?
And they didn't want to step a foot on Creek land. I can't remember one of them that was like, the bus has got to be pulled right next to the stage so I can step on the ground.
Well, we're just gonna start talking about a festival. I mean, that's the thing, though. What's the philosophy of the thing?
Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to be citizens come out
Right.
and
Yeah.
Right.
with their family and they get in touch with their relatives and they have fun and all of that stuff. Or that's my interpretation of the way it used to be.
And then like going back to the, they've got to be a Creek citizen, at least one in the band. And back in the day when we did it, of course, we heard a lot. Tulsa is just running over with musical talent. Eric Clapton's whole band at one time was from Tulsa. Derek and the Dominoes, You got J.J. and Cale.
Yeah.
And I had a long-range plan if I get who a man I respect and admire, Jimmy Markham, part of the Tulsa sound. I said, I get Jimmy, and he called J.J. Cale. He said, J.J., I'm down here at the Creek Festival. Why don't you come down and jam with us? Because to hire him, we wouldn't have enough money.
Yeah.
And I said, I get J.J., I got Jimmy, got Leon, get J.J., and I was working towards Eric Clapton because J.J. Cale was Eric Clapton's favorite songwriter, After Midnight and all that other stuff, And I was working towards Eric Clapton, but then, of course, they got somebody else said, I want to do that, I can do it. And it's just never been the same. But when we did, we had music in the afternoon. Then at 7, I brought out the big guns, Leon, Indigenous,
Yeah.
And it was just a great, great show. But you don't see that anymore. And I said, let's just build a small stage in front of the big stage. You can set up and get your stuff off of there because they told me, well, we don't want to mess up with our back line, for the headliners.
Yeah.
I said, build a little stage right out in front of the main stage, bring it down about a foot. People can play.
Yeah.
Well,
who's telling who what to do?
Yeah.
Well, the one of the things I wanted to get to though is we both of us have heard this story before, but it is such a good story. The story about Claude Cox. I know you have many stories about Claude
Hey,
Cox.
rest his soul.
Yeah,
Talking about festival.
at one time, the festival was held in Henrietta, and the parade
Reeves
was
Park,
in
ain't it?
Henrietta,
Yeah.
and the rodeo was out there to sundown, and then we built our rodeo arena, and a good friend of mine, Roy Roberts, did all the welding. She said he started with 30 young welders that worked here. He said when we were done, I had 5 welders left. They'd all quit on me. But our first parade in Okmulgee, we were set up down there filming, me and Gary Robertson, Tommy Cummings.
Gary Robertson.
And the chief comes out there and he's on his horse, and that horse gets to bucking with him, starts pitching with him, and Chief Cox goes straight up in the air and comes and falls right down on his butt. I mean, that hurt. I know it hurt. To this day, before he passed, he walked with a limp because of that. But got that on film. Then we went out to the rodeo arena and set up to film, and they introduced the princess of the rodeo, and she comes out, and her saddle was loose, and she starts riding until her head's like 4 inches from the ground. She bites the dust, and we got that on. Introduced the chief of the Creek Nation. He comes riding out, and that horse put on its brakes, and he went airborne and landed right flat on his back.
And that hurt that hurt Chief Cox's pride, would you say?
Yeah, I would think so, and
Now that's how the end's the best
this is
part.
right when VCRs come out, and Gary Robertson, I said, Gary, let's go over early Monday morning and make me a copy of that.
Insurance.
Yeah,
Job security.
So we get there at 7:30, and we're opening up to make a copy of that before work hours at 8. Well, Claude Cox was standing there waiting on us. He goes, I want that tape. He said, and I will run you off if you don't give it to me. And then eventually he did run me off because I had a little.
Eventually,
He got you. He didn't trust that you
well,
didn't have
he
that
knew
tape.
he knew how you thought, Barney.
Yeah, he was like, man, he's
what
gonna
you're
send
gonna
it.
do.
He's gonna show it anyway. I might as well run him off.
But he did.
What's going on? Kevin? Is everything all right? Oh, did it never turn green?
It's green.
Oh, okay.
Just has low bandwidth right now.
Oh, we're okay. We're all right. You're recording on the. You're recording
Yeah,
on
I'm
the.
recording
Yeah.
here, but everybody watches like it's real glitchy.
And
I
Helen
gotcha.
Shalaki Bennett was running communications at the time, and she let me do a little segment after I'd worked there a year or two. I had a little article where I could just write humorous stuff, and I signed it as Billy Bean, you know, instead of my name. And that was back when there was a commercial had Whataburger or something. Where's the beef? This little old lady comes to the window.
Right.
And we used to, at our festival at Nichols Park, they used to pass out free barbecue meals. And the line would be from here to the highway.
Yeah.
And, well, they quit having the free beef and sandwiches and stuff, but Claude donated one of the Creek Nation's bulls to Edmondson's campaign. He had a big free cookout.
Drew Edmondson.
Yeah, but I said, you can do that for him, but you quit having free meals for the festival,
Yeah.
the people.
Yeah.
And I drew a little cartoon with an Indian. Said, where's the beef? Helen Bennett told us, said, Barney,
Oh man.
I got to let you go.
That did it. Yeah.
Claude Cox done had all he could stand
Yeah,
to
he
you.
was done, he was done with you.
But that was,
That's good stuff.
yeah. And then,
Well, he wasn't one for criticism. We'll just.
no. And then, of course.
I don't think any of them are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that you know it's good times gang when you get to that level. You know what I mean? Nothing bad happens with me.
And
you know?
we had the rodeo meeting, and Helen Bennett said, you need to join the rodeo club. So I went to a meeting, and Gene Dunson was the president, and for the dance after the rodeo, he had hired the Navajo powwow drums. And I said, Gene, these are cowboys. They want to hear Merle Haggard and David Allen Coe. I said, they don't want to hear no powwow drums.
Yeah.
And he, well, we've done decided on it. So I just stood up and I said, I ain't part of your rodeo club no more.
Yeah.
I said, you're not going to listen to any good suggestions. You never have. You ain't going to.
Yeah.
So Monday morning he comes over and he said, did you get mad at the meeting? I said, well, what do you think? He said, well, we decided to go ahead and hire that country band that you was talking about. I said, well, Gene, I said,
It's a little late now.
It's just, you know, common sense. A cowboy wants to hear country music. They don't want to hear no powwow drums.
Yeah.
You know, no disrespect, but that wasn't a time or place.
Right.
No,
Right.
yeah, everybody likes their own stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, how long have we been going, Kevin? Are we at 30?
We are at 19.
19.
Well, I'll say this real quick because I think it'd be cool to talk about it a little bit. Let's go back to the music thing because not everybody knows this either, but Jared is a musician too.
Sure.
And Jared's been in bands and
Yep.
he's played the slummy clubs and everything like
Sure.
that, just like the rest of us.
Every
But I asked both of y'all this though, and I'll start out with me because it's always like, to me, fascinating to find out what got people bit by the bug and got them into music. For me, I was a kid that grew up in a family that, you know, we was in church Sunday morning church, Sunday night church, Monday morning ladies meeting, Tuesday night Bible study, Wednesday night church, Thursday night old people's meeting. You know, I was there every time the doors opened, man. And there was a lot of music in there, and a lot of musicians have the same story. But for me, my grandmother was a country western singer. She cut a record, actually. Back in the 60s, and was popular, you know, and played a lot of clubs and everything, and with Johnny Paycheck and Boxcar Willie and people like that. Well, she got converted, you know, and had this great awakening and started singing gospel music. So the family had a gospel music group. And when we came up in our family, like everybody either grabbed an instrument or sang, and some of us did both. Well, for me, it was always the drums. I just had rhythm naturally. I never took really a lesson. I just taught myself how to make music with those things. And so sort of that's kind of how I came up. And then it was interesting because when I was a teenager, you know, Jared, garage bands and grunge in Seattle and everything like that, I started wanting to hit them harder and louder and crazier and play rock music and everything like that. But then from there, you know, when I went to school, I stopped playing, but I got more of like this appreciation for every different type of music that I could play. You know, part of me, whenever I was a teenager and I was into that rock, I was like, I didn't want nobody to know that I played that Southern gospel when I was a kid, because that wasn't cool. But when I got older, I was like, man, that was cool, because I was playing really rooted music, you know what I mean? How did you get started, Jared?
I got started, you know, I was in band in school.
Yeah.
And I played the trombone. And then I was in the jazz band. So, and I kind of got into the jazz band. There was this thing that happened, you know, when you're in that type of a band specifically, where everybody takes a solo.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have any idea what you're going to do. You know how to read the sheet music or whatever, or play the song, but then you got to do the solo, and it's kind of like a competition thing of, I'm not going to be the guy that screws up.
the solo,
Like I'm going to be the guy that like I'm not going to be that guy. So that there's only so far you can go with the trombone. And around the time that I was in jazz band, my dad had an old E35, like one of those Gibson jazz type guitars, hollow bodies, that he had got because he loved Bo Diddley.
Chuck Berry edition.
Chuck Berry type of thing.
That's
and
awesome.
He put flat wound strings on it. He didn't hardly ever play it. He just messed with it every once in a while. But I would go into his room and I would get that guitar out and I would put it on, and I was like, you know, maybe I'd do a rock thing, you know, like you can't do rock as a trombone.
No.
So I started, and then also, you know, Paul Browne, my cousin Paul. Those guys had a Metallica cover band.
Yeah, they were
since
playing
the dawn of time.
Yeah,
you know, in the 8th grade they played in the talent show, so I was watching them, and I was like, go, you get out of school, you go over to Paul's house, and they'll be in the garage playing. And Paul gave me my first guitar. They had I can't remember, it's like a Goblin or something is the name of the guitar. It was a real piece of junk. But they just kept in there because they would smash it against stuff. Nobody actually played it. Paul said, if you want that thing, you can have it. So I took it, and I bought a book at the bookstore that was how to build and play your own guitar. It had like the whole bunch of history about guitars and pickups to show you how to wind your own pickups, to show you how to straighten the neck. And this thing was destroyed. And I took it and I redid the whole thing. I fixed the neck, put new pickups in it, put new bridge, put new nut, new tuners. I did the whole 9 yards, and I learned how to play on that. And then I got the crazy idea that I was gonna I was hanging out with Tate, and Tate, you know, even after I got out of bands, Tate kept stuck with it. He's played with Ice-T and all types of bands. But at any rate, if you saw last week's episode with Tate Steinzik, if you go and you look at his Wikipedia page, because he's big enough now to have a Wikipedia page.
He's got him a Wikipedia page. Well, I do too, Jared.
It'll list all.
I mean, I made it. But.
It'll list all of the bands that he's played with. But me and him got the idea, well, we could do this, you know, we'll start a band. We started a band with a friend of mine, Wade Burrow, and then Monica Tisdale was our drummer, and we started playing gigs, and then the lineups changed over the years, and then
As they do.
Wade.
Wade
was always more like a Beatles type of guy, or what you would say, like maybe Smashing Pumpkins or something. Like he wanted to go in a more of a or kind of like Yellow Ledbetter direction.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And me and Tate wanted to go more in like a heavy metal type of thing.
Gotcha.
So he went and did his thing.
Cool.
Then for me,
he kind of wanted to play some mellow sad rock, is what you're saying.
Well, you know, he had some upbeat stuff, but it was just a different style. We were in bands together for a long time, and what happens is, but the band starts to sound schizophrenic. You know, you have a song that's like all happy about your girlfriend, and then the next song is like a metal song. The audience doesn't know what to do, which can be fun, but eventually we played Canes. And after we played Canes, I was just kind of like, you know.
That's it.
Well, for me,
where do you go from there? Bob will.
it was starting to turn into a situation where you can't have you have a hard time having anonymity, you know.
Yeah.
And also you're looking at doing a lot of touring all the time, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
All of the guys in the band were going to move out to Boston, and they were going to make a go of it out there. And I didn't want to go out there, so I dropped out of that scene. But I do music by myself and stuff now. So what
and
about
he
you?
composes a lot.
You
was in band too, wasn't you, Barney?
Yeah.
I think so.
I was in the high school band and stuff, and but when I started playing the blues, I had two friends. One of them's parents owned a drugstore, and the other one worked for David Hall, and they had these real high-dollar acoustic guitars, and I said, if I'm going to be part of the Henrietta, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, I need to learn how to play something. I didn't have a dad to buy me a guitar, so I went and bought me a $3 harmonica. And I've been playing it ever since. Now they're like $60 a piece. And I was playing with the Loose Goose Band for years, playing harp with them, and lost some of the band members to alcohol or drugs or whatever. So I'll put the band together my own, what stuff I always wanted to play, Chuck Berry, Beatles, Creedence. And I've been playing ever since, and got a band now called Medicine Pony Blues Band. We've been together. One time we were the Fabulous All-Night Sheetrockers.
My personal
This
favorite.
guy goes, oh, y'all hang sheetrock? And I said, well,
well,
think about it.
Oh,
He
well.
went, I get it.
Oh, man.
That's the greatest name in the world, you know. And lost a guitar player to cancer, so I thought we're going to keep playing with
King Cheap.
Yeah.
Great guitar player.
Change her name. We went to Medicine Pony. And like I say, and last time 3 years ago, before our sitting chief now, George Tiger, we were up there playing and we just stopped, you know, no power. And I looked down and George standing there with a plug in, you know, that little cheesy grin, and pulled the plug on us.
Oh.
You know, I said, George, there's a way of being professional. I said, you don't need to just, I said, any place else, I said, me and you'd have been hooked up. I said,
If you was just some regular promoter.
yeah, but you pulled a plug on us, you know, and
well, this was at the festival, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And since then, you know, I've just had a hard time getting in to play the festival. I don't know why. I said, I've got a 4-piece band. 3 of us are Creek. Why can't we, you know, play the festival, you know? But,
well, if you're listening, you know, local color. You know,
yeah,
get the
that was the
got
deal.
2 local color.
I'll play drums for him.
Yeah, that was the deal, to hire
Yeah.
local talent, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
now it's just local talent can't even get in the front gate anymore. I don't know what happened, but
Where are we at, Kevin?
We are at 2830.
2830. Well, is there another story that we could tell?
Well, I mean,
That we can tell.
oh, that we can
Yeah.
tell. Yeah.
Can
Well,
tell.
I mean, I don't want to throw out that one about you ending up in the dog pen. This ain't the-
That's not
this ain't the
really
place
about
for that.
music, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
but
Who's
since
your
I
favorite?
mean, figuratively. But who are your favorite? I
Who's
thought
your
that when you
favorite
said-
band? Well, do you have a? Let me ask you this: modern music. Do
uh,
you have a
you
modern
like anybody
music band
now?
that you like?
well, I've always liked Tom Waits. I was
Tom
always a
Waits.
big Lowell George band, you know. I liked him before he passed. There's some groups out there, if I was doing the Creek Festival, that I would personally think would just be fantastic, and I'm not going to name them because somebody's going to steal
Take your idea.
them, take my idea, you know.
Don't
They said,
name
well, who would you get? And I said, I'm not going to tell you. I said, you keep on doing what you're doing. I said, but there's some people out there that you hadn't even touched yet, you know. And
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, Bonnie Raitt, Jackson Browne, you know,
Oh, yeah.
just
Well, you know, and
fantastic.
just like Tom Waits, that would be crazy.
Yeah, he a one-man show.
Crazy. Oh,
I saw him on
he could just
Austin
get up there
City
and talk.
Limits. Yeah,
Get Billy Bob Thornton's band down here.
Yeah.
Tom Waits had a song out called "A Man's Just Better Off Without a Wife." You know, I could sleep till the crack of noon, been out all
We don't know
night,
nothing about that, do we, guys?
howling at the moon.
Yeah.
He said, I don't get weird, take myself out to the Burrito King.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
making the scene with a
Classic.
magazine.
There's a couple of people that I, now that I've kept my eyes on, which they're not at all radio, and that's sort of the good thing you can say about them is they're kind of independent people coming up. But there's a guy out of Kentucky named Tyler Childers doing stuff right now, and he's just, baggy corduroy jeans, flannel shirt, red hair. Doesn't care what he looks like, but he's this Eastern Kentucky guy that his voice sounds like it's got coal dust in it, and it's just soulful. Writes great songs. Sturgill Simpson is another one that I think is really like right now.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to. He's in the hospital, but it's an honor for me to call him my friend, and I respect his music. Jimmy Markham. He's for his local talent, he's just as good as they come. And Jimmy's in the hospital right now, and we wish him all the best. I just always admired him, his music ability, his talent, and it's an honor for me to say that he's a good friend of mine. But,
Big
Jimmy,
piece of that Tulsa sound.
Yeah, Jimmy, if you're listening, buddy, I wish you well, and I'll be praying for you.
What about you, Jared? I mean, I know, honestly.
Who am I listening to?
Influences. Who'd you listen to?
Influences.
Who'd you listen
Jeez.
to before you got into? Because I think it's a given, sort of, that you like the metal scene and everything like that. But is there anybody out there that you listen to or like that would sort of like throw us and we'd be like, oh, I wouldn't see that coming?
Yeah. I mean, let's see. Well, for a long time, I just listened to classical music. That's all I listened to. I didn't listen to pop music. I got into like Black Flag and stuff. That was the first type of pop music that I really listened to because I was like, what the heck is going on with this? Apart from stuff you would hear in movies,
Right.
I'm drawing a blank on what the name of the band is. It was really big. Jazz band. When I was playing in jazz bands, there was what's that guy's name?
When Bela Fleck and
Miles
no, he does like a Maynard Ferguson.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Maynard Ferguson,
Cool.
that he actually came down here and played at Morris High School one time.
Awesome.
Man, I got into Maynard Ferguson music, which if you ever listen to it, it's it's like
yeah.
I was a big Freddie King.
Yeah.
Freddie King, oh my goodness, he'd be wringing wet just tuning up at Kane's.
Yeah.
We go see him, but I keep thinking of people like that I respect. I play at Tahlequah, and I'm always, oh man, because there's so much talent in Tahlequah.
Yeah.
Late Leon Briggs and the late Danny Garber. Randy Crouch comes to mind, but all these old fellas, they're passing, getting old, and somebody's got to pick up the torch because there's not a whole lot of rap in the music I listen to,
Yeah.
Got nothing against rap, but it's just, I miss that boat.
It seems like I'm not really a modern guy anymore. I mean, the modern stuff that I do listen to is, not even, it's not new stuff, but like a lot of the stuff that's popular now, like trap and stuff like that. I just never got into it. I don't know why. As far as rap, like Jurassic 5 and those guys, Wu-Tang, was what I used to listen to and still listen to, but a lot of the new stuff I don't, there's not any, they don't do rhymes anymore or bars, they say
and that's
the
what
same
was
word
so
like 15 times.
That was what was so good about it. It was so like, that's what you could respect about, like you said, Wu-Tang or like EPMD or in those early days of the, Run DMC and the way that they rhymed and things like that. It was cool. Everything was like a play on words. Everything was perfectly clever. Everything like that. And now it's just sounds like somebody's stuttering.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be the old man that's like, I don't get it, but I'm just
Well,
saying.
you know, they said
there ain't
the
nothing
music
creative-
died.
create-
The music died with Buddy Holly. But
Yeah.
for our generation, I think
It
the
did.
music died with Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know,
Yeah.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
You know,
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Man,
the
if you're a
legend.
good and incredible musician, that important to life, stay out of the helicopters, stay out of the airplanes,
Yeah.
just drive everywhere you're going. For crying out loud.
Or just
I
stay in
mean,
one place for your
Oh yeah, I mean Stevie Ray. I watched just the other day Stevie Ray at Austin City Limits doing Voodoo Child, Jimi Hendrix,
Yeah.
and it was very rarely do you go, oh, I'd rather hear that guy do that Jimi Hendrix song than Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
But that was
Well,
one of
that
those
was-
times where
and
I
that
was
was-
like, I'd rather hear that than Jimi Hendrix.
That was something that Stevie Ray was the king at.
Yeah.
Was taking something and turning it
Yeah.
into his
Yeah,
deal. you
yeah.
know, which is rough.
Really,
It's
really
going
cool,
up against
man.
Jimmy.
Really cool.
Nothing
And then
against
that
Winona Judd, but I wouldn't walk across streets there.
yeah, no,
You know,
I don't think anybody else did.
just was not my cup of tea.
No.
Well, we're getting to the end of our time here tonight, guys.
Hey, it's been fun.
Yeah,
I-
enjoyed
I-
it. Enjoyed
I
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin's reminding me. If you want to come on the show, he's going to pop the email up there.
Now,
Send
it's
me an email.
Gonna be hard for somebody to follow
Anybody
this
can
one.
come on the show. Citizens, if you're a citizen, you definitely get on the show. It's just a matter of coming in. So we appreciate everybody watching the program tonight. I have no idea what we're going to do next week, but we're going to do something. And
Awesome.
really what I'm considering is this. What do you guys think about this? UFO show. Kevin has seen a UFO.
Kevin has seen a UFO.
Tate says he's seen a
Tate's
UFO.
seen one.
I saw a UFO.
You saw
I
one?
got a picture of the UFO that I saw.
What?
Yeah, and I didn't even take it. Somebody else took the picture.
Wait. Like
That's
its
what
own-
I'm saying.
Like you're in it
Are you
and its
gonna-
own?
No,
its
no,
own-
no. It's a picture of what I saw.
I thought I seen some UFOs in the '60s, but I think it might have been chemically
You saw
induced.
Lucy in the Sky with
Yeah.
Diamonds is what you saw.
So we might do a UFO show next week. I don't know. So
We've
send
seen
me
2
an
or 3
email.
or 4
Nobody
UFOs out on the hill.
Yeah, nobody has sent me an email to come on the show yet, so send me an email. We'll put you on. So with that being said, we thank you guys for tuning in for Sour Sofkee. If the reception was bad, we apologize. We're going to upload a clean version later. And
Jared,
with
thanks
that-
for having us, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank
this
you
is
for
cool,
coming
man.
in, you guys.
I
And-
enjoyed it. I
when
enjoyed
I-
it.
You'll be back on again, I guarantee it. Because
I
there's
hope so,
there are a
man.
whole bunch
Yeah.
of shows every month. And
What's
there's
crazy,
no way
man,
I'm going to fill them all.
It's what's crazy is, and I'll hurry, but like I can't tell y'all how many everybody out there watching. I can't tell you how many times the 3 of us have been sitting here just like this on an old Indian couch,
Yep.
on Indian stuff all over the place in the living room, and just we didn't have no cameras there.
Yeah, we
Thank
did.
God.
Oh, this is the least amount of cuss words we have ever said
I've been
to each
good.
other.
I've been
we have
good.
spent 30 minutes and didn't say one cuss word.
Guinness Book of World Records.
It is.
Yeah, dude.
It is.
Crazy.
A little shout out to my friend Eli Grayson. Eli, you got an extra couch?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. Eli's going to talk about the couch. Give us one of your beautiful
I'm
couches.
gonna just to give the audience and everybody an update. So last episode was the episode where the people are going to vote in the comments about the couch.
The couch.
They
liked it though, didn't
we
they?
only got one comment on that video, and it says, "Keep the couch," in all caps.
Yeah,
So
gotta have the couch.
The couch isn't,
Yeah.
isn't going anywhere right now.
This
If
is
you
a-
don't want, if you want us to get rid of the couch, you're gonna have to go in that video, make some comments.
And
Yeah.
speaking of the festival, if y'all go to that, if you go to the festival, they have an Indian car contest. It's not a bunch of Rolls Royces pulling through there.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of junkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an Indian couch.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is
no,
We don't
couch,
have nothing
yeah.
fancy.
All right, well, Kevin, there we go. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Mado,
Hello.
Chopley.
Fuck you,
All right, all right.
Galaxy.
That was fun.
Now, Kevin, you